Oh, that nod. Okay,
Morning.
amazing. So, firstly, hi guys, and a huge welcome to the call. I'm so excited to be hosting this alongside incredible ladies, and I think us are all from so many different backgrounds. We have different versions of success. We all made the decision to make essentially join the most lucrative industry in the world, which is of course travel. Now, at one point, I was invited onto a call very, very similar to this one. So, what we're going to be doing on this call is basically obviously showing the different sides of the business, the different companies that was partnered with, but also actually how we went from seeing this call to actually where we are today. So ultimately, the opportunity is a way to make money through the travel industry. It's a way to be able to make commissions off of our own bookings, make bookings for others, be an independent travel advisor, and or build a passive income through our partner agency, which I'm going to go into more detail about soon. Before I do explain more detail about the two companies and about their opportunities, I just want to share a little bit about myself and why I chose to be partnered with IntelliTravel, how I chose to gain my travel advisory credentials and build a client base, as well as show others how to do the same and to get even more paydays for myself. So back 5 years ago, I was working as a hotel receptionist in Devon at 19 years old. And I was doing this full time. I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do. I left school, I was very academic, I got A stars in absolutely everything. I just felt a little bit lost at that next step. And I think that's because I was always very entrepreneurial. I just wasn't sure the right way to go about it. I was that girl that at school at 14 was buying stuff at wholesale from Chinese websites and I was trying to sell them, for more. I was always trying to find a way to be a business owner, but at 19, I didn't know what options were available for me. So I tried lots of different companies. I tried to sell shakes, I started to sell skincare, but ultimately I wasn't passionate in just one particular product. But I was passionate in making money online so that I could travel. So I chose to partner with IntelliTravel. I gained my travel advisor credentials. I built myself a client base using the trainings that we had, and I showed others how to do the same and create more paydays for myself and for them. So as I said, I was working as a hotel receptionist. So I always say like I was the wrong side of the desk. I wanted to be checking in, not checking people into hotels. I did that full time. And then in the evenings, I actually worked at a cocktail bar. So it was very long, very unsociable hours for a 19-year-old. And I still managed to get myself in debt because I was still trying to obviously pay my bills, pay for my flat. And so every single month I was taking out loans and it just got very, very consistent. I've just seen that it says terrible sound, which is through my headphones. Um, okay, maybe let me try to take my headphones off and just use the audio. Let me just see if that's better. I just don't want you guys to obviously miss this information. um, oh, it says it's okay now.
Yeah, Lucy, that
Okay.
is a little bit better now. It's
Since I
better.
took my headphone out,
Yeah,
or
yeah, it's slightly better now since you took it out.
just one of them?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, let's go with that. So I had a lot of spare hours sat behind this desk, as a receptionist, and I used to basically create travel itineraries for myself for holidays that I would definitely wasn't going on, but I ultimately loved planning holidays. So when I saw someone that I knew personally share that she had a Paris deal coming up, I had no idea what this was. Emma, it's looking like you still can't hear me. I just want to make sure that obviously you guys can hear this. Okay, it's good, it's good, it's good. There's always some sort of technical issue, isn't there? And any Zoom call ever, but it's fine. As long as you guys can hear me. So I saw somebody that I trusted. I saw somebody that I knew post that she had a Paris deal coming up. And I basically then that's how I came to discover that she was actually able to book holidays for other people and earn a commission that was already within these travel bookings. Now she showed me a company called IntelliTravel that was a company with over 30 years of credibility, partnered with approximately 70 brands and companies, all essentially working through IntelliTravel. And she explained that commissions were already built into everything. Everyone around was booking anyway. This is things from spa days to zoo days to weekend breaks in the UK to lodges, all the way to big city, multi-city breaks and package holidays. I knew I wanted a career in the travel industry, I just didn't know how. She then explained that actually I can share the business with others and actually open up more paydays for myself. Now, I've always had a travel bug. My parents used to travel for 15 years at a time before they had all the children, and they would just be everywhere. So I had my travel booking somewhere. I knew that I wanted to create money essentially on a beach if I had no Wi-Fi or not. So she explained that there's something called passive and residual income where we get paid for the work that we're doing today several years later. So ultimately, like we would go out, we would share a restaurant recommendation with someone and share the link and share the menu and explain how to book. I started to tell people this travel product that I had access to. I started to share that with people and I started to build up a passive income through that way. Now, since 5 years later, I'm 25 years old. I've been able to show thousands of people how to do the same, but also that life that I was dreaming about as a little 19-year-old sat behind that receptionist desk in Devon, I've been able to live. As an example, my life now looks like I lived in Miami for a year, I lived in Mexico for a year, I've traveled all around the world, basically doing this business and showing how to people how to make a lucrative industry through a lucrative income through this industry. I've been able to gain multiple six figures passively, so that's residual income, which means we're getting paid again and again and again and again. So ultimately, my end goal was freedom, to have the financial freedom to never have to say no to things, never have to say no to different experiences. On Wednesday, I'm going to Mexico again, which is now like my second home, somewhere that I love so dearly. But every single part of that travel, from the car parking to the airport lounge to the stay on the other side, from the taxi from Cancun Airport to Tulum, that's all commissionable. That means every single thing that I was booking anyway now has a commission involved. And on top of that, I'm able to get a passive income on top of this through getting paid that. So what I really wanted to kind of stress was not, 5 years ago, I was in a very, very different position, in debt at 19, working two full-time jobs. And that for me was the push and the motivation that actually I'm 19. I have an opportunity here, and we're going to hear from lots of other people on this call, all different ages, all different versions of success and why they joined this business and what that means to them. But I hope they gave a little insight into, what the business has done for me for the last 5 years. I'm so excited now to pass over to Josephine, who's actually all the way in Thailand. Josephine is a very dear friend of mine, and I can't wait to hear her story because I was there the moment that Josephine joined the business, up until the way that she is now. So I've been able to see her story and see her growth. So I'm going to pass over to Josephine, and I'm so excited to hear from her.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Can everybody hear me? Lucy, can you hear me? I can see your, yeah. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Yeah, I am calling in from Thailand. It's actually 3 a.m. here. But I didn't want to miss the opportunity to tell my story, because hopefully it will inspire whoever's thinking about joining the business. It was the best decision I ever made. So thank you so much, Lucy. Like Lucy said, she saw me go from zero to literally living my dream life. So I'm obviously so grateful for the opportunity. So I'm 29. I've been doing the business for 5 years, and the way that I live today was genuinely a dream for me. So, 5 years ago, when I first was introduced to the business, like most people, I started the business because I wanted to earn money from booking my own travel. So that's like, surely a win-win if you're going to travel. I was planning to travel more, although couldn't quite afford it at that point. One of my first experiences with the travel business was I'd already booked something on booking.com for Germany. It was like a hostel, probably like 15 quid a night or 20 quid a night. And I actually was able to cancel it on booking.com and book it through my own travel business. And obviously the commission was only like 2 quid or something. It wasn't a massive amount, but I remember feeling so excited that everything that I was now going to book travel, I was actually going to earn a commission back. So at the time, I was working as an admin girl for a pharmaceutical company, and I was spending 11 hours of my day, including my commute and working. So something that was a huge allure for me was the time freedom that could be achieved with this business. I saw actually at the time Lucy, who'd already achieved amazing success when I joined the business, and she was traveling more than me, and she was getting to be her own boss. And I remember just thinking, oh my God, I need this lifestyle. Like I really need this lifestyle. So most of all, though, for me, it was location independence. So I used to actually sit in my office job, and I used to research and like daydream about the laptop lifestyle. So I was like, how can I make this possible? I was like looking at blogging, I was looking at vlogging. I'd studied computer science in university. but I dropped out after a few years. But I thought about doing website development online so I could like work from anywhere. I was actually studying psychology as I started the travel business, and I was like, am I going to be able to do this remote? Like, you know, this is like a big thing. So like location dependence was actually a big driver for me. And none of the things that I researched offered me the same opportunity as this business model does. And that is genuine. This business model offers so much freedom and flexibility. And that's what I was searching for. So, you know, fast forward to 5 years, like now, the way that I live, you know, I've just got to Thailand last week. I'll be here for the next 2 months, and I'm off to America and then South America. Basically, for the next 6 months, I'm going to be traveling the world full time, and I can literally work this business from anywhere. So, you know, I went to Austria for my dad's birthday in February. I was literally building my business like at the top of a mountain. And to me, that is like the ultimate freedom and flexibility. So if that's something that you're interested in, this business opportunity is absolutely a vehicle that can take you there. And, you know, it's absolutely so worth it. I say this all of the time. Time is going to pass you by anyway. You may as well be building something that can set you up, you know, in the future, something that is taking you closer to your dream lifestyle. For me, working in that office job, no matter how many years I spent there, it would have never, ever taken me to the lifestyle that I wanted to live. And so, you know, making that decision to say yes and start now 5 years ago was the best thing that I ever did. I'm so grateful that I'm like not a risk taker, but I was like open-minded, and I was kind of not scared to, you know, like take the plunge. Because, you know, I joined, I didn't have a clue what I was going to do. And as the kind of like, as time passed, I learned more about the opportunity. And then I learned that I could make residual income, which is an income I absolutely did not sign up for, but so glad, because it has been an income that has like changed my life. You know, it's the income that, like Lucy was saying, I worked so hard in my first couple of years of business, but now I get paid thousands every single month, even though I'm not doing that same amount of work. So it's kind of like Michael Jackson made all of his music, and now he's still being paid royalties, or his family be paying royalties now for the work that he already did. So it's the same concept. But there's been times in my life where, you know, that income has literally been a lifesaver. And so back 3 years ago, I actually lost my little brother. He was in a car crash. He was only 18, bless his soul. I was in Australia at the time. And obviously, when I received that call, I was like devastated. And for months, I wasn't the same, obviously. You know, I didn't feel like doing anything. You know, I wasn't feeling that great. I wasn't like that inspired or motivated to show up. But I had already built my business to pay me, you know, a full-time wage every single month. And I always just say, like, this is how I know that this is the most amazing business opportunity, because it's times like that where I was like, you know, just reminded of how powerful it was to build a business for myself. So yeah, so my goals of traveling the world now, you know, working from anywhere, anytime I've come through. Literally built my business from Australia, New Zealand, Portugal, Thailand, Austria, like so many countries. I've been able to travel so much more because of this business opportunity, of course. Being able to book my own travel as well means that I get to travel more for less. And yeah, all by saying yes to this opportunity. So if I started with no clue and no experience and made it work just from my sheer passion and vision to make it work, then absolutely anybody can. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. If anybody's looking for freedom, you absolutely need to take a look at this opportunity. So thanks for listening in on that. I'm now going to pass over to the amazing Olivia, who's actually booked over 500,000 in sales since she joined this business. Whilst traveling in Australia and whilst working, she's absolutely smashed it. Sometimes taking home thousands in a month just from travel commissions. So I'm going to pass over to Olivia. If you've made it to the call, Olivia.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jo. So hi everyone. I'm Olivia. I'm going to give you some information on my story. Just a bit of background on how I actually got started in the business, and I guess what's like sort of driven me on to succeed and get me where I am today. So I'm sure I was probably the same as a lot of other people on the call, whenever I left school many years ago. I left with some qualifications, but not a lot. I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do. I moved around a lot of different jobs, did God knows how many courses and different things, just trying to figure out something that I had maybe a bit of passion for. So I ended up getting a job in the bank in customer service, and where I would end up then staying there for 9.5 years. So like most corporate jobs, I started on an entry level. So obviously very low income. Because I had no degree, I knew that if I wanted to work my way up the ladder, I was going to have to really stand out from other people and just work harder than anyone else. So 7 years on, I was still doing everything to work my way up. I had started getting the boat over to Scotland every Monday and every Friday to actually try and get some sort of job opportunity, because they were very, very limited in Northern Ireland. And I was basically covering people's maternity leave, covering people's sickness, anything that was just going to get me recognised within the business. So finally, after 2 years of grinding, an opportunity came up in Northern Ireland. I applied against some really, really fierce competition, but got the job, and I remember being absolutely over the moon. I thought to myself, finally, all the hard work's paid off. I'd spent so much time away from my fiance and my family. And then a year into the role, when I was absolutely high on life, I was made redundant. So I was absolutely devastated. And with a lot of corporate companies, I do feel like you've become sort of a puppet. So they placed me back into comments again. I was covering job after job and I wasn't able to get a house with my husband because I was then on comments, and it was just basically a vicious circle. So I just remember feeling so full of anger and resentment. And because I had taken such a confidence knock, any interviews that I was going for, again, I was just freezing in the interviews. It was probably one of the worst times that I'd been through. And I remember seeing the opportunity online, and I'd actually seen a couple of people that had started it. And I was chatting to one of my friends at the time, and she had actually said to me, "Oh my God, you would be absolutely amazing at that," because anytime we went on a group holiday or even like just me and friends or me and my husband now, I always done all the planning, and like to the point where some of my friends, whenever we went on a group holiday, they would call me the mum because I turned up at the airport. I planned everything from start to finish. So I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm just going to give it a go, because I had never actually done a job, because I thought, oh my God, I would really, really love that. This was the first thing that I'd actually seen, and I went, I think this is something that I would actually really, really enjoy. And even if it didn't work out and I wasn't able to do all these bookings for other people or earn income from it, I thought to myself, I'm always on holiday myself. So even if I can just save on my own bookings, I would be absolutely over the moon with that. So a year on into the company, I had booked 160 grand worth of travel. A year and a half on into the company, I had then booked 300 grand worth of travel. So basically within the year and a half, my first year and a half, I've been in the business 2 years now, but within my first year and a half, I have actually built up enough commission that would have matched my bank manager job that took me 9.5 years to get to. And if the only way is up, nobody's going to step in and make me redundant or take that away from me. And that's the main thing that keeps me going and keeps me so driven, because I'm doing this on my own, and anyone is capable of doing that as well. And not only that, I'm also 14 days away from being taken on an all expenses paid cruise around the Mediterranean by Virgin Voyages. And like I was 9.5 years in the bank, and I think they took me to Edinburgh or something once and that was actually just for a work day. So that's just an example of like what this business can actually do for anyone, just if you put the work in. So of course now I've actually naturally just wanted to, I've decided that I want to share this opportunity with other people. And I think that the girls have both touched on, obviously there is the residual income side of it, but the reason that I want to share it and me personally is because of my personal story. So I've worked hard, I've learned the systems, I know from my own personal experience, and the opportunity that we have to share with other people. And obviously whenever you actually see other people succeed, that's just another amazing part of the business. But Some people have full-time jobs like me. Some people are struggling with just like a side income, and some people are just full-time moms or dads and they just want something else that's going to bring in another bit of income. So the main point of that is that this business is just so adaptable to anyone. I am still working my full-time job. Of course, I don't want to be doing that in a couple of years' time, but it is something that's just really opened my eyes into what an opportunity can bring, and that you don't have to rely on anyone else. And I never want to be in that position again. So yeah, that's pretty much my story. So thank you so much, everyone. And I think I'm going to pass over to Caroline.
Thank you, Olivia. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Caroline. So I work full time as well. I'm a mum to 2 girls. I have a busy 9 to 5. I actually travel for the day job, and I first joined this business back in November 2021. I actually joined after spending around 18 months debating whether this business was right for me. I initially joined to be able to travel smarter, to be able to take my kids on lots more holidays. And if you kind of fast forward 2.5 years, I've been able to run a really successful travel agency from becoming an independent travel agent. So I've actually booked just over £750,000 worth of holidays. And a lot of that came from family, from friends. And then now that I'm in year 3 of this business, I'm getting a lot of repeat customers. Now, a lot of people ask me, how the hell do you do this in around your busy 9 to 5 job? Is that really possible? And I'm sure there might be people on this call this evening that also have full-time jobs but would love a second income. And really the answer that I give people is that I've always loved travel. And for me, this really isn't a job. This is a passion. I run this business around pockets of time in my day. So I'll use my lunch breaks. I will use the evenings. My husband and kids tend to go to bed very early on normal nights. Not tonight, funnily enough, but normally they do. So I use the evenings to build my business, to look for travel for my clients, and sometimes in the mornings as well. When I'm on holiday, sometimes I'm booking holidays for other people. And actually what that means is that I can then book more holidays for me and my family. So this year, we're actually going on 9 holidays. Now, that probably sounds insane. I never thought that I would be booking 9 holidays. And in fact, this Christmas, we are going back to the Maldives, not for the second time, but for the 3rd time. Now, if you had asked me this 5 years ago, I would have said that to go to the Maldives once was an absolute bucket list destination. But the fact that we're going back for a 3rd time, and actually it's really, really special this year because we're going to be taking my 85-year-old granny as well. So this business really does change lives. And I'm so excited to be able to take my granny. And she's never been to the Maldives. She's 85 and she's living life. So, you know, as I said, this business has been able to do a lot of benefits for me and my family. Yes, I do it around my 9 to 5. But that extra income, and really it makes you enjoy the day job even more because you know that you've got this, you know, extra kind of cushion in the event that, you know, if, for instance, I was to get made redundant tomorrow, I'm earning another full-time wage through this travel business. So best decision that I made. And yeah, really happy to still be doing this nearly 3 years on. I'm now going to pass on to the lovely Dee.
Thank you, Caroline, and good evening, everybody. My name is Dee. I'm a director in this business, and I've actually been a part of this now for coming up to 4.5 years. I feel like it's been such a journey because we've been through COVID, we've been through, you know, travel reopening, travel closing, and then reopening again. But it's been the most incredible experience for me. Just a little bit of background information about myself and how I came to discover the business. I am a mum to 3 children who all arrived at the same time. I had twin boys, and then 15 months later, my daughter was born. So I went from working in a corporate environment, you know, studied at university for 5 years, had a job that I worked really hard to get, very much busy Monday to Friday, 8:30 till 5:30, you know, 5 days a week, to expecting twin boys. And all of a sudden, you know, finding myself as a stay-at-home mum. and with my daughter arriving quite quickly afterwards, it meant that it just didn't feel possible for me to get back into that busy corporate environment and get back into full-time work. You know, I was super blessed and so grateful that I had the opportunity to be at home with the children, and I'm forever grateful for that time. But I must admit, you know, as a few years passed, as much as I was helping my husband with our other businesses and, you know, plugging into that wherever I could, I didn't feel like I had my own thing anymore. And I did feel very much like I'd lost my independence slightly, and often wondering, you know, having 3 children all the same age, you know, how was I ever going to get back into, you know, that role of putting the suit on every day and going out to work. It was actually through a lovely mum friend of mine who was 6 months ahead of me in this business. She knew that we love to travel as a family, very similar to Lucy and Josephine. Prior to having children, I did the backpacking, I did a lot of traveling, and I absolutely love to explore the world. My husband, very similar. And so, you know, just because we had children, we didn't want to stop that. We had, you know, places we wanted to go and so many things that we wanted for the kids to experience. But obviously then as a family of 5, it was a lot more expensive. We'd been really fortunate to stay in some beautiful places in the past, and all of a sudden when you need 2 rooms, it was adding on to the cost quite considerably. So my friend knew all this, and she knew what we were hoping to achieve in the future. And she also knew how I was feeling personally, but not really voicing it to many people because I didn't feel like I had an option. And that's when she told me about the business. Initially, I didn't look too much into it, I must be honest, because travel and being able to look at this flexibly around all of the busy things that I had going on in my life, and the fact that I could still help my husband with his business, I could still do all the mum things that I needed to do, be there for the pickups and the drop-offs, but I could do this in, you know, pockets of time around everything else. It just seemed like the perfect opportunity for me. I was hugely interested in the possibility of being able to travel more, experience everything as a travel agent, but actually I had a lot of people who love to travel as well, and so the idea of being able to help them and actually earn an additional income from doing that was just really exciting to me, to be honest. I just couldn't wait, actually. So I was one of those new year, new me people, and I think it was about January the 2nd that I just decided I'm just going to give it a go, because I really felt like there was nothing to lose, to be honest, and a lot to gain. So I just jumped right in and fell in love with the business. Yeah, and fast forward 4.5 years. I think initially when I started this, it was, you know, to travel more. I liked the idea of being able to have a little holiday pot that I could earn additional income that would pay for our holidays. And like some of the ladies have mentioned on the call, this has now become my full-time thing, and I'm actually earning a higher income than I was earning when I was in a full-time 9 to 5 prior to having children. So for me, I never seen that coming, if I'm honest. And it was just through the passion and, you know, the love for the business and what it can offer other people that drove me to just try harder and, you know, want to work at this more. And now I feel so lucky, but I feel really excited because I see the business and I see where it's going, and I see other people wanting to join me. And I just think, wow, where are we going to be in a few years' time? And I think this can be so life-changing. It's just amazing. So I was so happy to come on the call tonight to be able to tell my story. And actually, the lady that I'm going to pass on to is Emma, the friend that I mentioned earlier who told me about the business. Is Emma, who's actually going to be speaking next. So I feel very, very grateful to Emma for, you know, mentioning to me, I think it was actually at the school gates one day, just bringing it up in a conversation and telling me about the business, because it's absolutely changed my life. And it sounds a bit cringy, but it really, really has. So yes, I'm going to hand over to Emma. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dee. Yes, it was a cup of coffee and it was the 2nd of January, and I'm very glad that 4.5 years later you are here to tell the tale. So thank you, Dee. Thank you very much to all the other ladies. It's really great to have that variety of stories and experiences, and it just demonstrates how each and every one of us is making a success of this amazing travel and business opportunity in a number of different ways and around different commitments. I'd like to point out we also do have lots of men in the business. They're just not on the call tonight. So I'm going to close out the call for you and briefly tell my story. And if we're giving ages, I am closer to 50 than I'd like to be. I wish I discovered this age 19 like Lucy, but it does show you that any age, any background, you can get involved. So I am Emma. I am mum to two, and I joined this business 5 years ago. Before that, I spent the majority of my 20s and my 30s in the world of event management as a global event manager based out of London. I did some very lovely things. I travelled around the world with had lots of lovely experiences, stayed in lots of nice hotels, was treated to lots of nice things with suppliers, having a very nice time. Favourites included Mauritius and Cape Town, but it certainly wasn't always glamorous. And we had some glamorous nights and first class flights, but it was also really stressful. There were long hours. Some days I had no sleep and events that ran for 72 hours solid. I had horrible bosses. I wasn't paid that much in hindsight. But one of the things I hated the most was not being able to do the things I wanted when I wanted, because maybe someone else had got in first with their holiday request. And there was also very little recognition of what I was doing. I'm a Londoner, but I did leave that job and everything I knew, and I came to live in a different part of the country following my now husband. So it kind of worked out, and I started a little family. But I didn't want to really go back to doing what I was doing in the events world. And also, to be quite frank, they chose a younger model who was much happier going away on site on events. And when you've got a young family, that's not as appealing. So I got completely stuck into motherhood. I went to every baby and toddler class going, and I made a few mum friends, but I was genuinely a little bit lost, because I'd gone from whizzing around the world with high profile clients and managing a big team to not actually doing that much anymore. And I must say, a big part of me had gone, and what lit me up had gone. However, I still liked holidays and I still liked traveling a lot. And like most people, I was booking my own personal holidays and family travel just online like everyone else, until I discovered this little gem in 2019. And I saw that I could make money booking travel for myself and other people. And from my event days, it had been really helpful for me to understand that I knew how commission worked and how the benefits and the privileges came as being a part of the industry. So I jumped straight in and I have never looked back. And I recognised immediately that aside from personal travel, that it would allow me to book. It was an incredible business opportunity, but entirely without pressure or targets. So it was perfect as a kind of fairly new mum. So my youngest was still at preschool, just a couple of mornings a week at the time, and she was with me the rest of the time. So I would do what I needed to do in pockets of time. I would do what I want when I wanted, but I was also just talking to people at kids' parties and at the side of the swimming lessons. Everywhere I went, I was telling them about the business. And it's such a natural conversation, isn't it? Just, telling people about this extraordinary thing that until you tell them, they might not realize it exists. And it's now developed into something that I never imagined it would, and something I never dreamt of, but I completely adore. So I'm also a director in the business. I've helped over 600 people in the UK, the USA, Ireland, the Caribbean. And that means I've now created a willable income as well. But for me, it's not just about the money. The money is, of course, good, but it's so much more than that. I am so passionate about this business. And not only do I have a very decent uncapped income that grows monthly with total flexibility, but I'm now Emma again, but I like to think I'm a slightly better version of myself and with more freedom. I just love it, and I'm so passionate about helping other people do this and have the same things that I have. So I've now created this perfect work-life balance, but people will say to you, it doesn't feel like work at all. But for me, the flexibility is everything. Having no targets is huge. Once when I was at a baby group, I was actually persuaded to start a different business. I did it for just over a year. It was target based. I was my best customer because you had to place an order of £100 every 6 months or something like that. So yeah, there's nothing like that in this. And that's the beauty of it. It allows everyone to use the business in different ways. One of the other things I love particularly is the fact that there are 8 paydays a month. So 2 paydays from booking travel and another 6 paydays from that come from being rewarded for telling friends and family about this opportunity. And I mentioned before about the willable income, being a director. One of those, it's generational wealth. So 6 of my 8 paydays would be passed on to my children if I was to drop down dead tomorrow. And they can then in turn pass that money onto them. And I never heard about anything like that at all. So for me, as much as the personal travel pulled me and most of us in from the start, it is now just the cherry on the top. So I could go on and on about this business. I'm very passionate, but I'm going to give you a few facts and figures as well. So our host agency, they're really reputable. They've been in business for over 30 years. They're actually the originators of the home-based travel business. We've now got 115,000 agents globally. We're in this massive period of momentum, which is really exciting. Sales figures are, the last count last week was something like over $3.5 billion of travel booked to date. And if you think about the commission being paid out from those travel bookings, just to normal people, no matter what shape or size or what your experience is, real money coming from people just booking travel. We've currently got over 85 preferred partners. We've got lots of household names and business to business suppliers that make us really competitive. We've got more coming on board all the time. Got loads of industry awards, recognition. We're going through a period of huge growth at the moment. Our year-on-year figures grow every single month. We are currently operating in 20 plus countries, and we've got imminent expansion into new territories, which is really exciting. I could go on, and there's lots of good stuff. But I just want to reassure you that no matter what your background is, what you're looking for, whether you're looking for a full-time income, part-time income, or something new to just get your teeth into, I would massively encourage you to go for it. The thing we hear most often is, I thought it was too good to be true, but it isn't, or I wish I'd done it sooner. So because it's so amazing and it's changed the lives of the 6 of us, and we can work on it as and when you want, and the same for thousands of other people, you're probably expecting it to cost a lot of money, probably thousands or hundreds of thousands, but actually it's not. I'm going to give you the cost now. It's a really low initial investment. And I'm going to give it to you in 3 different currencies, just in case you're listening in from different parts of the world. So if you're in the UK, it's just £156 as your one-off setup cost, and that's the 142 initially that goes to the travel company, and then £14 for your own referral link. So if you know people that love travel themselves, or have a good network of people that do, or they're looking for more income, this is perfect. So 142 and 14, and then after that there's a monthly recurring cost of £46 to keep everything running. That equates to about £1.50 a day for an absolutely incredible opportunity that allows me to earn more than I've ever earned in full-time employment. I would pay that over and over. And let's just make that really relatable. I've taken my family out today for lunch, and then we went to the cinema, tickets, drinks, popcorn. I've just bought some pizza whilst they're watching the football downstairs. I've spent well over £200 today. And it blows my mind that for far less, you can have 2 killer businesses for that instead. So yeah, just let that sink in for a moment. In Ireland, it's €188 as a one-off initial investment, and that breaks down to €169 for the travel part, and then 19 for your referral, and then a monthly cost of €58 to keep everything going. And in the United States, it's $199 one-off investment, and then $179 for the travel, and $19.95 for the referral, and $58 a month. Hopefully that is clear. I would make one thing, I would point one thing out there. We aren't a cheap holiday company at all. Yes, we get some incredibly competitive rates, but it's so much more than that. Hopefully you can see from the stories and the experiences that we've given you. You know, you get to earn on what you and people you know are booking already. You get to book your own personal travel and access better experiences. We've got an incredibly generous business model and compensation plan that can pay you very well now and also well into the future. And it's also the freedoms and the potential, the future potential, that absolutely fill my soul. So it's, you know, if it's a lack of experience that might worry you or put you off, please don't worry about that. We've got you covered. We've got really comprehensive training and webinars, everything you can tap into as much or as little as you want. I would also point out there is no contract that you're tied into, and you're also going to be met with an amazing community of people once you get involved yourself. So many added bonuses. And yeah, just in closing, I would say if you're planning a holiday anytime soon, or if you're traveling anywhere in the UK or abroad, if you like money, if you want more choices in your life, if you don't want to work at someone else's beck and call for the rest of your life, and I think that's probably most of us, it really is something worth exploring, and I would encourage you to do it. Because if you never try, you will never know. And it's a pretty simple business, and it makes a lot of sense, I hope. And for me, I use this product, the travel product, frequently for myself and for others. I will do till my dying day. And the fact that I can capitalize on the power of leveraged and residual income, introducing it to others, is just amazing. So yeah, we give you the vehicle. If you want to run with it, make a lot of money with the tools and resources and the training and the experience, we will share that with you. And to think that I, like a lot of people, started for my own travel, and now I'm absolutely living my best life and building an amazing future for me and my family and my future generations is just dreamy. So yes, I would say if you are if you've decided that you like what you hear, right now is a really good time to be a part of the business and in the business of travel, but then it's actually never a bad time, and it never will be. So jump on, don't overthink it. We're really good at helping people travel and make more money around here. So If you've decided it's not for you, or maybe not for now, that's absolutely fine. Thank you so much for listening. There's plenty of people it is right for. We'll go and help them instead. But if you ever change your mind, you know where we are. However, do please let the person know that you've been speaking to, that you might consider using them as your own travel agent to book your next holiday, as I'm sure they'd really value your business. And even if you don't want to earn the commission, I'm sure they would like to. In terms of the next steps, if you are keen to get started, it's really super simple. It just takes 5-10 minutes or so to get set up. So just let the person know and they'll be more than happy to do that for you. Equally, if you've got any questions, please ask the person that you've been speaking to, because we want to make sure that it's right for you. There are a lot of people making a lot of money in this business and having a very nice time being part of it, and we don't want you to miss out. So thank you very, very much for listening and learning more tonight. We hope to see you in this wonderful travel business soon. And enjoy the rest of your day or your night, wherever you are. Thanks, everyone.